I'm Destiny, 32 years old, and I grew up thinking my childhood was pretty normal. What I didn't realize was that my mother's resentment toward my chronic illness would spiral into something truly vicious. During a brutal flare-up that left me barely able to move, she leaned in close and whispered those words that shattered everything. "If you die, we'll celebrate." That moment hit like a punch. I decided right then to walk away and cut them off for good. I left with just $1 in my pocket, no safety net, nothing but determination. 4 years later, they stumbled onto my Instagram. 5 million followers. A luxury life built from scratch, sponsorships rolling in travel independence I never imagined. Then came my mom's message. "Can we talk?" I blocked her without a second thought. Before I dive into how it all unfolded, drop a comment letting me know where you're tuning in from. Maybe share if you've ever faced something similar. Smash that like button and subscribe for more raw stories of breaking free and thriving. We lived in a cozy colonial home in Scarsdale, New York, the kind with a manicured lawn and a porch swing that my parents loved showing off to neighbors. From the outside, we seemed like the ideal family in this upscale suburb, with its tree-lined streets and annual block parties where everyone brought potluck dishes. My mother, Erica, was the queen of community involvement, organizing charity drives and bake sales at the local rec center, always in her pressed blouses and pearls. She thrived on appearances, making sure our house was spotless, and our family photo albums showcased only the best moments. My father, Warren, was an engineer who commuted daily to Manhattan, leaving early on the Metro North train and returning exhausted. He provided well with his steady job at a tech firm, but he was rarely engaged at home, preferring to unwind with a beer in front of the TV rather than join conversations. When Erica's criticisms flew, he'd nod along or disappear into his garage workshop fixing gadgets to avoid the tension. Then there was my younger sister Gina, who could do no wrong in Erica's eyes. Gina had her straight A's praised endlessly, her soccer trophies displayed on the mantel like prized artifacts. If she spilled milk, it was laughed off as cute clumsiness, but if I did the same, it became a lecture on responsibility. My older brother Xavier was mostly indifferent already in his late teens and focused on his part-time job at a local coffee shop. He'd shrug off family dramas, spending more time with friends than at home, barely acknowledging the growing divide. As a kid, I chased perfection to fit in. I'd stay up late studying for tests, earning top marks in math and English, but Erica would always find flaws. "Destiny, an A is good, but why not push for that plus?" She'd say, her tone laced with disappointment as I showed her my report card. If I cleaned the kitchen, she'd point out a smudge on the counter I missed. Outfits I picked for school events drew comments like, "Do you think that's flattering? People will judge our family." It stung, making me feel like I was always one step short. Family dinners highlighted the differences. Gina's stories from school got laughs and encouragement, while mine were met with silence or redirection. Xavier might chime in with a neutral comment, but he never defended me. Once I won a school essay contest, rushing home with the certificate only for Erica to glance at it and ask if I'd finished my chores. That same week, Gina's third-place art project earned her a special dinner out. The contrast built resentment in me, though I kept pushing, joining clubs and volunteering at the community library, hoping one day they'd see my worth. Summers in Scarsdale meant backyard barbecues with neighbors where kids played tag in the park nearby. Those moments felt genuine at first, with laughter and grilled burgers, but even then Erica's standards loomed. She'd critique my swimsuit choice, or how I interacted with others, whispering, "Act properly. Destiny, we have a reputation." Warren would pat my back occasionally, but his emotional distance left me craving real support. Over time, I internalized the message that love came with conditions. Sometimes I'd wonder why family bonds felt so fragile, like they could snap under the weight of expectations. But I kept striving, unaware how much worse it would get. I didn't know that the real nightmare would start when I turned 16. When I was 16, the exhaustion came on strong, not the usual teen fatigue from late nights, but a deep weariness that no amount of sleep could fix. My joints started aching, hands and knees throbbing with a dull pain that sometimes sharpened into stabs. Mornings became battles, dragging myself from bed feeling like I hadn't rested at all. "Mom, I can't make it to school today," I said one morning, my body heavy and unresponsive. "I feel awful." Erica barely glanced up from her coffee, packing her bag for a community meeting. "Everyone gets tired, Destiny. You can't skip every time you stay up scrolling on your phone. What were you doing last night anyway?" It's not that I tried to explain. This felt different, wrong, in a way I couldn't pinpoint. She rolled her eyes with a heavy sigh. "There's always some drama with you. Pop some Advil and get going. You have that history quiz, right?" That set the pattern. My symptoms piled up, but my pleas fell on deaf ears. Weeks later, brain fog hit, making concentration impossible. I'd forget words mid-sentence or lose track during class. My grades dipped for the first time from straight A's to B's. My English teacher, Mrs. Carter, pulled me aside after class. "Destiny, your essays aren't your usual sharp work. What's going on?" Her concern cracked something in me, tears welling up. "I don't know. I'm exhausted constantly, and thinking feels fuzzy. My parents say I'm exaggerating for attention." Mrs. Carter frowned slightly. "Have you seen a doctor? This sounds beyond normal stress." When I mentioned Erica's dismissal as growing pains, her expression tightened. "I'd like to speak with your parents about getting you checked out. Okay?" That conversation led to my first appointment, though. Erica made her annoyance clear. In the waiting room, she huffed, "We're wasting time and money because you've convinced your teacher something's wrong. Your dad had to adjust his schedule for this." The doctor ran basic tests, listened half-heartedly, and diagnosed anxiety or depression. "Rest, more exercise," he suggested, ignoring my point that physical issues came first. He turned to Erica. "Psychological problems often show as body complaints in teen girls." She nodded smugly. "Just what I figured, doctor. She's always been dramatic." That validation fueled Erica's stance. Afterward, any symptom mention got shut down. "The doctor said it's in your head, Destiny. Stop wallowing and be productive, you'd feel better." Warren stayed out of it as usual. When I confided privately, he'd say, "Listen to your mom, she knows best." The dismissals wore me down, but during this I discovered Instagram. Posting simple art sketches from my notebook gave me control, a way to express what words couldn't. I'd capture everyday scenes, a leaf in the park, shadows on the sidewalk, and share them anonymously at first. It became my outlet, away from the judgments at home. Behind the screen, I didn't have to prove anything. Little did I know this hobby would grow into something bigger. But the real diagnosis would make things worse. A school counselor noticed my ongoing absences and connected me with Dr. Yates, a specialist in autoimmune disorders. My journalism advisor had mentioned my symptoms resembled his aunt's condition, so he quietly arranged the referral after I missed another club meeting due to fatigue. Dr. Yates listened intently as I detailed the pain, fog, and exhaustion, asking follow-up questions about family history and triggers. She ordered advanced blood tests no one had suggested before, including antibody panels and inflammation markers. 2 weeks later, in her office, she explained the results. "Your immune system is attacking your own body, Destiny. That's causing the widespread symptoms. It's a chronic autoimmune condition that needs ongoing treatment." Relief washed over me, finally having a name for it, but Erica's reaction was pure denial. "Are you certain she's been fine until recently? Maybe the labs mixed up samples." Dr. Yates stayed calm. "The markers are definitive. This is physical, not imagined." Erica pressed on. "But she's young and our family has no history of this. These conditions can emerge in teens, and genetics are just part of it. Stress or environment might play roles too." On the drive home, Erica gripped the wheel tightly. "Do you understand what this means?" Endless doctor visits, pricey meds, special diets. Your dad's salary covers basics, but this will strain everything. In her view, my diagnosis wasn't a medical fact. It was an imposition on the family budget and routine. Word spread at home quickly. Xavier started avoiding me more, treating my room like a quarantine zone, barely saying hello when passing in the hall. "Can't catch whatever you have," he'd mutter once, half joking but distant. Gina was worse, her complaints direct. "Why can't you just push through and act normal? You're messing up our family plans." She even posted a vague story on her social media about dealing with constant home drama, which friends knew referred to me, adding to my isolation. Amid this, the school media club became my refuge. Professor Baxter, my advisor there, spotted my early Instagram posts during a workshop. "You have a knack for framing everyday struggles in a compelling way, Destiny," he said, after reviewing a few sketches. He loaned me a basic camera kit from the department, encouraging me to experiment with visual storytelling. "Art can turn pain into purpose." He added, sharing examples of creators who documented personal challenges. For the first time, I saw my condition as potential fuel for content, not just a limitation. Those sessions gave me tools to capture moments that felt authentic, like a quiet park bench symbolizing rest amid chaos. In those posts, I began hinting at invisible battles without revealing too much yet. It felt empowering, a small rebellion against the dismissal at home. Those moments made me realize the power of sharing one's story. I thought college would be easier, but staying home made everything worse. I opted for the local community college to manage my health without relocating far. Financial constraints played a role, but mostly it was the fear of handling flare-ups alone in a dorm. Classes started and I arranged my schedule around peak energy times, avoiding early mornings when stiffness peaked. Erica saw it as laziness. She'd barge into my room at dawn, flinging open the curtains. "The world doesn't wait for your convenience, Destiny. Get up like everyone else." Even on no-class days, her disruptions left me drained. The house tension escalated with my needs. Co-pays and specialist visits added up despite insurance. Warren would drop bills on my desk silently, his way of highlighting the burden. When I reminded Erica about prescription refills, she'd forget or delay, causing missed doses and worsened symptoms. "You're old enough to handle your own stuff," she'd snap, though she controlled the insurance card. I started stashing extras in my bag for emergencies. College brought supportive friends who didn't judge. Katie would reserve seats in lectures for days when walking hurt, slipping me notes if I zoned out. Kayla drove me to appointments when family schedules clashed, researching new therapies online during waits. "Friends stick together," Kayla said once, brushing off my thanks. What a concept that help came without strings or grudges. Professor Baxter continued mentoring, reviewing my growing Instagram portfolio in office hours. "Your posts capture raw emotion, lean into that vulnerability," he advised, suggesting I incorporate subtle health themes. He connected me with online communities of content creators dealing with similar issues, showing how they turned experiences into engaging series. At home, comparisons intensified. Erica praised Gina's independence, her part-time job, and social life. "Look at your sister, she helps with chores despite her busy days." Xavier, now working full-time, rarely visited but echoed the sentiment in texts. My freelance gigs from Instagram earned pocket money, but Erica dismissed them as hobbies, not real work. During sophomore year, a major flare-up struck, landing me in the hospital for monitoring. Doctors tweaked meds and checked organ function, worried about complications. Katie visited with homework, Kayla brought comfort snacks. Professor Baxter emailed department extensions. Family came once briefly. Erica complained about traffic from Scarsdale to the city hospital, then the parking fees. "This is ridiculous, do you know the deductible hit?" Warren murmured agreement, avoiding eye contact. Gina fidgeted, scrolling her phone. As they left, I overheard Erica in the hallway. "The bills keep piling, insurance barely covers half." Their attitude hinted at deeper resentment brewing, like a storm about to break. It made me question how much more I could endure. It made me wonder where the limit of endurance lies. But the next flare-up would shatter everything. At 24, a severe flare-up confined me to home, demanding careful daily management. Mornings involved swallowing pills with breakfast to ease stomach side effects, then resting until they kicked in, loosening the joint stiffness enough for basic tasks like showering. Erica viewed my routine with clear contempt. Nice life lounging while the rest of us hustle. She'd comment even as I worked on freelance edits from my laptop. When I pointed out it was actual income, she'd scoff. Doesn't look like productive effort to me, more like an excuse to avoid real responsibilities. The household atmosphere grew thicker with strain. Warren dove deeper into work, staying late at the office or tinkering in the garage on weekends. Xavier visited less, his calls brief and surface level. Gina thrived in her final high school year, her achievements paraded at every opportunity. In spring, the flare-up worsened, affecting mobility, to the point where Dr. Yates prescribed a temporary cane for joint relief. The day I brought it home, Erica recoiled at the door. "Is that necessary? What will the neighbors think seeing you hobble around?" I explained it was short-term to prevent damage. She pursed her lips. "Where do we even store it? Our house isn't equipped for this kind of thing." That night I caught her on the phone with a friend. It's like living with someone disabled, constant adjustments I never asked for. Warren ignored the cane entirely, stepping around it without comment, offering no assistance with stairs or doors. When Gina returned from a school trip, her embarrassment showed. She canceled a sleepover, claiming the place felt too cluttered. "Just because you're stuck here doesn't mean I have to suffer," she hissed when I asked if it was about the aid. The tipping point arrived at a family dinner in April. Erica had invited Warren's colleagues over a rare event lately. Despite intense pain that day, I joined to avoid more conflict. I maneuvered to the table with the cane, but Erica intercepted. "Destiny maybe eat in the kitchen. The room's packed and you'd be more at ease there." The suggestion stung. My presence was an inconvenience. "I'm okay here, Mom," I replied softly, avoiding a scene. She smiled tightly for the guests. "If you're sure, I just want comfort for everyone." Conversation flowed awkwardly. They discussed Gina's college apps and Xavier's promotion, skipping me entirely. When a colleague asked about my pursuits, Erica cut in. "Destiny's figuring things out amid health stuff," I interjected. "Actually, I'm freelancing content creation, building an online following." "How fascinating," the colleague's spouse said. "What's your niche?" As I described blending art with personal insights, Erica interrupted again. "It's casual. Her issues make steady commitments tough." Humiliation burned as I corrected her. "I have consistent clients despite that." Erica's face hardened. "Well, it's not self-sustaining, is it? Not with all those treatment costs draining us?" Silence fell, guests shifting uncomfortably. I excused myself, retreating to my room, hands trembling with anger. Stress triggered a cascade, heart-racing, vision blurring, joints searing. I collapsed before reaching my phone. Paramedics arrived, stabilizing me en route to the ER. Erica rode along, fumbling when asked for my med list. "She's an adult, she handles that," she defended. In the hospital, late night, family visited briefly. "Thinking me asleep," they whispered. Erica vented. "The drama never ends, the expenses, the embarrassment." Then her voice low. "Sometimes I think if she just died, we'd finally move on." Warren gasped. "Erica, no." But after a pause, he sighed. "You're stressed, let's head home." Xavier stayed silent. That betrayal snapped my last thread of hope. As they left, I vowed to escape, owing them nothing more. At that moment, I knew freedom sometimes starts with pain, but the next flare-up would shatter everything. During that hospital stay, I crafted my escape plan with sharp focus. The social worker, Ms. Anderson, visited to assess home support and picked up on my hesitance. Destiny, if there's anything about your situation you want to discuss, I'm here, she said gently. I opened up vaguely about needing independence. She provided pamphlets on disability assistance, low-income housing options, and support groups for chronic conditions. Programs like these can help with meds and living costs, she explained, handing me her card. Call anytime if things escalate. She also linked me to vocational resources for remote work, emphasizing self-sufficiency. Back home, I acted normal to avoid suspicion, ramping up freelance jobs when energy allowed, funneling earnings into a hidden account. I listed essentials documents, camera gear, a few clothes, emergency meds. Timing aligned when the family planned a weekend trip to Gina's college tour. Erica announced it casually, assuming I'd stay behind due to health. As their car left the driveway, I loaded boxes into a cab with help from a classmate, heart-pounding but resolute. Ms. Anderson had connected me with temporary resources, but Professor Baxter offered his guest room immediately when I called. Our basement suite is ready, stay as long as needed, he said, his wife adding groceries for my dietary needs. The space was modest but welcoming, with a bed desk and private bath equipped with simple aids. I transferred care to a new clinic, navigating paperwork amid fog days, applying for aid to cover gaps like therapy sessions. Challenges hit hard: bureaucracy overwhelmed during low-energy periods, but I budgeted tightly, prioritizing basics and building a routine around rest and productivity. Instagram became my lifeline. I launched Invisible Struggles, a series pairing personal portraits with symbolic overlays representing internal battles, a figure weighed by unseen chains for fatigue, blurred edges for cognitive haze, fractured mirrors for pain. Posts resonated, followers climbing from hundreds to thousands as shares spread through online communities. Publications noticed, requesting features on turning adversity into art, which boosted visibility. Sponsorships trickled in, wellness brands for authentic endorsements aligning with my themes, starting with product reviews and evolving to collaborations. Each deal padded my savings, easing financial pressure and allowing investments in better equipment. About a year in, I met Zachary at a local creative meetup where I presented content tips. As a web designer focused on accessible sites, he understood fluctuating needs. My brother has a similar condition. I get the ups and downs, he said over coffee, sharing tips on adaptive tools. Our first date was flexible. He suggested a park walk, but switched to a home movie when I mentioned a rough day. No pressure, we adapt, he added, bringing snacks that fit my restrictions. The relationship built steadily based on mutual respect. He'd prepare easy meals during flares or celebrate good days with short outings to nearby cafes. 4 years flew by. My account hit 5 million followers, viral challenges, amplifying reach through user-generated content. Luxury followed brand deals, funded a sleek apartment in a nearby accessible building, travel to conferences for networking, even custom gear for content creation, like ergonomic setups. Zachary and I modified our space for ease, installing adjustable desks and lighting to accommodate varying needs. Success felt like quiet victory, proving I could thrive without the family's shadow. That achievement made me think about what one truly deserves. But my family would discover me. 4 years passed since I left that house behind. My Instagram had exploded, drawing media attention, with features in lifestyle magazines highlighting my journey from struggle to influence. Advocacy groups commissioned content, and my follower count stabilized at 5 million, with steady engagement through interactive polls and live Q&As. One afternoon, while editing a post, an unfamiliar email popped up from Gina's address. Subject: "Saw your page, let's talk." My heart skipped, but I read on. "It's been forever. Mom and Dad aren't the same. Your account looks amazing, proud of you. We miss you." Attachments included family photos, attempts to tug at nostalgia. Messages followed from Warren, brief and pleading. "Destiny, come home. This has gone on long enough." Xavier texted next, more measured. "Hey sis, Gina showed us your stuff. Impressive. Dad's worried maybe meet for coffee on your terms? Erica's came last, evolving from demands to guilt. After everything we've sacrificed, this is how you repay us. Your success is great, but family matters more. When that didn't work, she shifted to threats referencing an interview, where I vaguely mentioned unsupportive environments. That's defamation. Retract or face consequences. Xavier tried mediating, calling to bridge gaps. Mom's in therapy now, regretting things. Dad blames himself for not stepping up. Gina admits she was wrong. We want to make amends. He suggested a neutral spot, promising no pressure. I consulted Zachary and a lawyer about the escalating contacts. The lawyer drafted a response reminding them truth defends against claims with documentation from medical witnesses. I blocked their numbers, emails, and profiles, cutting off all avenues. Peace returned, but their actions had repercussions. Erica's efforts to portray me as ungrateful backfired when old acquaintances heard both sides, leading to her exclusion from community groups she once dominated. Invites dried up, leaving her increasingly alone in her Scarsdale routines. Warren's anxiety led to performance issues at work, culminating in a layoff during firm downsizing. Job searches stretched months, straining finances and forcing lifestyle adjustments he never anticipated. Gina's online presence suffered when past posts resurfaced in a viral thread criticizing insensitivity, costing her followers and partnerships. She pivoted to unrelated jobs, her dreams stalled by the scandal's shadow. Xavier honored the boundaries, though mutual contacts mentioned his regret and solitude. He advanced in his field, but kept distance, reflecting on his earlier passivity without further outreach. These weren't orchestrated, they were natural fallout in a world where harm echoes. Severing ties safeguarded my well-being, fostering growth with people like Zachary who offered genuine care. It reinforced prioritizing self-love and chosen family for true mental health and independence. Sometimes no reconciliation is the healthiest choice. What do you think? Share if it resonates.